Good morning. Good morning. How are you people? Happy Thursday. Yay. All right. So I am enrolled in a next level leadership program. It's a 6-month leadership training program to take my leadership to the next level. So if you're someone like me who wants to make an impact and do great things in the world for people, I believe you have to be continually looking at your limitations and holding yourself accountable in a way that has you discover what your blocks are. Like, usually it's a set of beliefs, usually it's a way of being, usually it's something maybe that we're holding on to from our past. So how do we produce extraordinary results? Well, first we get the bullshit out of the way. But when we talk about being the leader of your own life, even if you have no desire to do what I am committed to doing, which is transforming women's relationship with themselves through using their voice, even if that isn't something that it is on your heart at all, how are you leading your life? So what are you allowing to occur? What are you allowing to take you out? So let's say you want to lose weight and it's been something that you've wanted to do for a really long time and you feel like you failed at it over and over and over again, or you just can't seem to get it and you just keep kind of spinning your wheels. So how do you take ownership? How do you become the leader of the thing that you want to achieve or accomplish or create in your life? So there's a distinction that I learned last night, is the first distinction of leadership is responsibility. And I actually had this, amazing training from an amazing leader. He's a trainer in personal development transformation. And this is really, personal development is taking on yourself from the standpoint of what's holding me back, what's in the way, what limited beliefs are keeping me from being or doing the thing that I want out in the world, or in my relationships, or with my children, or at my job. So leadership doesn't have to look like being on a pulpit. It doesn't have to look like speaking to millions. It's leading your life. So if you think about leading your life, I don't think most people consider that they're actually leading their lives. So the choices that we make or don't make, the actions that we take or don't take, the things that we say or don't say, those are a reflection of our relationship with responsibility. I have my window open because it's beautiful here. I have my window, I'm at the front of the house and cars go back and forth, and I usually have my window shut, but it's so nice that we're just going to deal with whatever noise comes up and let it go. So if I want to produce a result in an area of my life where I feel stuck or stopped, then from a problem solving standpoint, what are the things that I need to look at in order to produce a result in a new way, produce a result when I haven't produced a result before? The main reason why I do leadership training, the main reason why I do personal development training, is because my software is designed to have me be small. My software is designed to have me feel like a failure if I make a mistake. My software is designed to have me in self-beat up or judgment or criticism, and none of that. There is no room for that in where I want to go. That's literally the thing that will keep me from it. It's literally the thing that has kept me from it. So every time I get into a training room, every time I get into a program, every time I put myself through the eye of the needle, I put myself in these programs that have me stretch into someone that I've never been before, to doing things and being in a certain way that I've never been before. That's leadership. So if the first principle of leadership is responsibility, and I teach this to my clients all the time. Responsibility has nothing to do with fault, blame, guilt, shame. It's not that. Responsibility is cause. Responsibility is creation. Responsibility is I cause and create the relationships that I have in my life, the money that I have in my bank account, the level that I'm at in my job, like all of it. And for some people, this is hard, right? Because we don't want to be responsible. We want there to be a reason why we can't succeed, because we just can't be with failure. We just can't be with that we're not good enough to produce this result. And here's where I'll have you separate these two. So the results that you produce are not you. The results that you produce have nothing to do with who you are, your worthiness, your good enoughness, and I used this analogy last night. I have a client who I told her to ask for feedback in her job. She's in a new position and she's feeling like the guy who's training her isn't really giving her everything that she needs. And so we did a little bit of role playing about how that conversation could go and how that conversation can empower her and him. When I talk about responsible and using your voice so that everyone is empowered. Not so that you just get to say whatever the hell you want to say and get shit off your chest. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about being responsible for the impact of the words that come out of your mouth on the other person, whether or not your words are empowering yourself and others. That's true self-expression. So I'm talking to her about this. I told her, she's like, well, I don't know what he's going to say. I said, well, of course you don't know what he's going to say. And if you empower him to be able to say anything to you, then that's where you could have an actual breakthrough. If you empower him to be able to say, hey, it doesn't work for me, this doesn't work for me, or that doesn't work for me, or I can't train you in this way, or I can't train you at this time, because she has this thing about, he seems like he's annoyed with me, and he seems, first of all, you have to say the thing that's there. Like, hey, I have this experience that maybe you're annoyed and you feel like maybe I'm not learning this stuff fast enough, and so I want to get your feedback. How am I doing? So I said, your first job is to take yourself, your ego out of the equation, because when you look at leadership, when I look at myself and I'm like, okay, this chair, it just keeps my chair kind of like slowly sink. So all of a sudden I'm like, if I am here and I want to be here in whatever area of life, I'm here and I want to be here. This is called the gap. So whatever I've done whatever I've done to get me here. And what I've done may not be the thing necessary to close this gap. So I might need new skills. I might need a new way of seeing the world, myself, others, new possibilities. So I said to her, okay, great. So first of all, you have to have a conversation about what you think is going to be there. And then I said a really, really powerful exercise, and you have to be detached. You have to come at this as if you're looking at yourself as the object. Become objective. You're the object. You're the thing that's either going to get you from A to B or not. You are the thing. So start to discover where you need to grow. So I said, one of the most powerful exercises that I've done in personal development is an exercise where you go out into your world, you go out into your family, your friends, your work associates, and you actually ask them for feedback about who you are and how you show up. Now, for those of us who are attached to our, like, very, very in our ego is very ingrained and we can't separate ourselves and see when ego is operating. Ego is anything that's like defensive, fear-based, blame, shame, all of that is ego. When you're being source of I'm creating my life, and you're coming from a completely different place where nothing that you do has anything to do with who you are. There's the doing and there's the being. Nothing that you do has anything to do with who you are. Meaning, whether or not I fail at a task, whether or not I'm doing a good job, does not mean anything about my worthiness or my value. So that's what I'm saying when I say you have to separate yourself. So I use this analogy. So I told her, go out into your life. This is going to blow your life open. Go out into your life and ask for feedback. Ask people what their experience of you is. She goes, well, what if he's just a jerk or something like that? She's like, well, how do I know I can trust him? Go, you can't trust one person. Like, don't take it's like a science experiment. You don't go out and have one test subject and go, well, conclusive results, everybody's that way. No, you have a representative, sample. You have enough people in your family, in your work life, in your church, in your, whatever, all areas of your life represented. And the more people you ask, you will start to see a theme. So when I did this, I was controlling, judgmental, all the things that I hated and all the things that I was trying to hide, to be honest with you, all the things that I hated in other people and I was trying to hide and I was trying to kind of work against. We're all controlling, we're all judgmental, we're all jerks and assholes at some point in our life. That doesn't mean that's who we are. That's how we be. That's what we do. So I said, go out and do this with as many people as possible. If you do it with as many people as possible, you're going to see a theme. So this is a really, really powerful exercise. If you want to know how you're showing up, you ask other people, who am I for you? What are my strengths and what are my weaknesses? Even if it was just that, what are my strengths and weaknesses? You will start to see a theme. So that would be the first step in actually taking ownership, being the leader of your life. Well, how can I be the leader of my life? How can really, how can you be the leader of your life if you're not willing to look at where you currently are? And again, you could have one person say, I think you're the biggest asshole I've ever met in my life. But like 99% of the other people are like, yeah, you're this sometimes and you're also this sometimes. Look for the common theme. So this is an exercise that is just, it's just remarkable. It's just a breakthrough. It's just, unbelievable insights that you can gain. And the trick is, and I'm going to leave you with this last piece because this last piece is really important. The trick is, my client rides horses, and so she's been riding horses for a really long time. And I used the analogy. I said, all right, listen, when you started to learn how to ride a horse, or let's say you have a coach right now, I don't know what they're called, trainers, coaches, someone who teaches you, they teach you how to ride horses better. This is a terrible analogy because I don't really know anything about, I do, but let's say you wanted to do jumps, right? Like you wanted to jump horses. You wanted to do that whole thing. If you hired a coach or a trainer and you attempted to do a jump and you missed it or you messed it up, when the coach says to you, hey, you went this way, but you were supposed to go this way. So take your body and position, right? And they're basically coaching you. They're giving you feedback. In that situation, would that mean you're bad, wrong, worthless, invaluable, a piece of shit? No. You're doing a task at hand. The task at hand happens to be jumping horses. And so you're willing to be coached on your performance. This is all about performance. I want to produce a result. Now we get attached that the result is actually us. That's the key. The key is you need to become objective and separate yourself and almost look at yourself as an athlete. Look at yourself as, a jockey. This is a terrible analogy because I don't even know the words. But do you understand what I'm saying by that when I say separate yourself from your results? They have nothing to do with you. Results are neutral. It's yes, no, zeros and ones. We put the meaning on it. We think, oh, I failed at this task, I'm a failure. That's a bunch of bullshit, and that is you indicative of not being the leader of your life. So you're responsible for your performance. You're also responsible for how you relate to and regard your performance. So let me know if this conversation contributes to you, helps you in any way. These are the principles that I have been learning over the last almost 15 years, really, in a really intensive way. Every time I go into a leadership training or a personal development training, I take myself on. And when I say self, I don't mean self with a big S. I mean little self ego. How can I break free of my ego? How can I break free of my looking good and not wanting to be wrong and wanting to be right, and all the judgments, all of that? We do it to ourselves. So this is just a lesson in you being the leader of your own life. And let me know how that works for you. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.